So we're having a great trip up north. This is a wonderful car to drive. I just wanted a quick chat around charges and tariffs because this is an issue that Australia isn't properly prepared for and needs a bit of work to do on. So there are a number of different types of charges. So there's a system in place for classifying our charges in terms of their charging capacity, but then there's also a whole lot of smarts involved in controlling the charges. So we have charges as small as 7.5 kilowatts right up to 350 kilowatts, and that's just simply around the rate of charge, and noting that you have to have the car capable of accepting that rate of charge. So the new standard developing seems to be the 800 volt cars are much more capable of accepting the full charging rate, which can actually charge most of your car's battery in around 20 minutes, which is quite good. But if we flip over to the smart bit of the chargers, there's quite some interesting developments. We've got the basic or dumb chargers, which plug in and turn on and they put charge in the battery. There are some level of smarts in some chargers around which will coordinate charges. So you've got multiple chargers, say in a basement of a high-rise building, and you want to make sure that you're not overdoing the maximum capacity of the building. So you have some smarts connecting the chargers together, controlling the level of charge to ensure you don't outstrip that charge. Then there is another function that is being worked on by some governments around external control. Particularly interested in a trial in South Australia where they're allowing external control of the charges in emergency, but otherwise providing the charges linked to the spot price of electricity. That means when the cost of electricity to generate is really low, they'll pass it on to you charging your car, and in fact if the cost of electricity goes negative, you can get paid to charge your car at that point in time. So there's some great new opportunities, but I understand those tariffs are only under the condition that you will allow this function, allowing the network to actually, in an emergency, turn your charger off. So then the final version of smarts I probably want to mention is a bi-directional charger, and if we unlock the capacity of bi-directional chargers, we have a great opportunity to make a significant difference to our grid. So there are significant grid issues at the moment. There's a whole lot of work being done on the national grid around zones connecting solar and batteries together in certain areas, but we haven't taken the full capacity and the full advantage of distributed energy resources, so home batteries, car batteries and other elements connected to the grid. If we can coordinate these resources by providing them the opportunity to contribute to that financial position on the grid, we can send signals to the market through the price to charge a car, or in turn the price to unlock the ability to put charge back into the grid out of a car. We will have a whole new generation of people using their cars to make money for themselves by providing support to the grid at the time the grid needs it. So there's an amazing opportunity here. And if we're going to have the expected 1 million cars on the road by the time the 2030 comes around, why don't we head in the right direction to make sure most of those cars have the capacity to do bi-directional charging, and most of the chargers, especially the chargers we put in at home and in our workplaces, carry this bi-directional function, which will enable all of these vehicles to be used to get into a daily cycle of charging the car up when we've got too much solar in the grid and we've got that negative demand issue, and then putting that power back into the grid at dinner time. And only when we get that right, we'll be able to offset billions of dollars of extra investment the government's planning to put into our grid to make sure that we can handle all of this clean energy production that's coming to our market to reach net zero. So I trust and hope we head down this track and we're on the right way, and we will all end up one day driving an electric vehicle and use it in a daily cycle to bi-directionally run the house and support the grid.